What are we talking about today, Steve?
Well, I guess we're going to talk about virtual private networks.
VPNs.
And how do they contribute to cybersecurity?
Holy moly.
All right, so tell us what a VPN is, Jim.
What are the benefits of having a VPN?
How about if I say, hi, we're Slick Cyber Systems, and this is Steve, this is Chris, this is Jim. Hi. It's all good. It's all good. VPN. VPN is, think of it as, it's a tunnel, okay? You're creating a private network. So what's a network? Okay, I have a network inside my house. I can turn my Alexa on, my smart TV, whatever's there, and they can all see each other because they're on the same network. All right, so what happens though when you are outside of your home and you want to talk to the home network, or outside of the business and want to talk to the business network? Well, the most reliable and smartest way to do that is to use VPN, virtual private networking. What it does is it sets up an encrypted tunnel, they call it a tunnel, between your device and the target, whether it's your home network, corporate network, what have you. So think of it as nobody else can on the internet can sit there and sniff. It's all encrypted traffic. They can't see anything coming in what they call clear text, all right, in the clear, which means, the actual files are going through. If it was a Word document, you could literally pick off the Word document if you were a good hacker, blah, blah, blah. So you're just encrypting that data from this point to that point. That's it. That's what a VPN does.
But all the traffic coming from the machine engaging that network.
All the traffic with engaging that network. Everything is encrypted.
Okay.
From point A to point B and back, B to A. So that kind of divides into two chunks, because VPN now is being used, for like an anonymizer, where you don't want to be, I don't want my ISP or your regular network, right? I
think a lot of it, like, people are a lot more familiar with things like, you got Netflix and you want to watch shows from somewhere else in the world. I have a lot of friends that want to watch anime or other a movie from somewhere else in the world, but they can't get it here. So they'll say they're in that other part of the world, and that way they have the ability to see that content on another network. So they use a consumer grade VPN.
VPN, yeah. And consumer grade is even kind of difficult. It's still encrypted traffic.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but the purpose is different than.
The purpose is different. So I kind of look at it and call it an anonymizer.
Yeah.
You are connecting to a VPN, like Chris, you had mentioned some VPN providers earlier.
Yeah, there's I was just looking at it too. There's a couple of big ones, like we've talked about, like Nord.
Yeah.
There's Surfshark. There's ExpressVPN. They're like three big.
And there's a bazillion other flavors of it too. So it's not like you only have a couple of providers to go to. I mean, a lot of the AV programs today have that in their premium offerings, where they're going to be. The point being is so when you go out to the internet from your computer, everything that all requests. I want to go see a website. So I type in www.xyz.com and it goes out and touches xyz.com's web server, right? That web server at that point knows, this IP address on this network, not your internal network, but your WAN side, your internet side, that's who is talking to me, and the conversation happens in the clear. So people use a VPN to connect to someplace else in the world. It could be in your country, outside of your country, however you want it to go. And now you're encrypting traffic over to that point, and then that point is doing the talking to xyz.com. So now xyz.com doesn't know where you're coming from. So anonymizer, right? You're making yourself a little bit less touchable from a hacker standpoint.
Yeah.
So is it a good thing to use? Sure, in most cases, but in a lot of cases, or in some cases, I should say, you cannot. And we'll touch base on that in a little bit, but yeah, it's still good practice to do that. Just select a good, reliable provider. And when I say reliable, just so you don't want to be working for 10 minutes and the tunnel goes down and you lose connection and blah 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 and all that happy stuff.
Something fast and secure that's reliable.
Yeah, I've used Nord in the past personally. You had mentioned that before, but I mean, my goodness, there's so many of them. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are using different ones, and they have phenomenal success with all of it. And the success is you're anonymizing yourself from those external servers, which may or may not be trying to be hacked by a third party. So
and that'd be the reason why you'd want to do
this
that.
This is cybersecurity, right? I mean, you're protecting your tail, your computer, your data.
What security features do you think you need to evaluate when you're looking at a reliable VPN provider?
I don't necessarily think, Chris, that it's the features themselves that you have to look at. It's more like their uptime, their diversity, how many connection points do they have, as opposed to just one. Which a lot of startups, and even some of the AV products, I mean, they just kind of have one location wherever their data center is, and then everything goes out from there. It's like, well, that's fine, but if you can choose, where you're connecting to, where they're sending it out, like Nord does or Express does, you literally can say today, well, I want to pick a server in Chicago. Tomorrow I'm going to pick one in California. The next day I'll pick. You can kind of do whatever you want, with that, and I think it gives you a little bit more
flexibility.
Anonymity.
Yeah, true.
I mean, outside of that, they're all the same. A VPN connection's pretty much a VPN connection. The encryption levels are good enough for that instantaneous transmission of data that you're fine.
So, using VPN as we've been discussing so far, good use case would be like you're in a public Wi-Fi.
Oh, perfect case for it, because the transmission of the data, again, from point A to point B, you're anonymizing yourself. But remember, you're anonymizing yourself only for the target that you're hitting, the point B. You're not anonymizing yourself internally. Your computer's still accessible on that Wi-Fi network. So don't think that a VPN is going to protect your entire computer, from a hacker sitting in the same coffee shop that you are.
I think a lot of people think that I got a VPN, I'm protected.
It absolutely will not. I'm here to tell you, it absolutely will not. It only does the language that is spoken from computer A to computer B over that tunnel. That's the only thing that's encrypted. It does not protect you in any way, shape, or form outside of that.
There were a lot of. I think we go back to the last Olympics. Was that the one in Russia? Somewhere it was somewhere.
I should know this because I'm an Olympic freak. I love it.
One of the ones.
I know.
The people would be landing and they go to connect to a Wi-Fi connection, a public connection. Immediately, their phones would be, hacked or be stuff put on it. So think about that when you're going to just somewhere that you kind of think you're going to be safe because you used it before, a restaurant, somewhere public, open, in a mall or something.
You never know who's going to be on the same network with you in a public situation.
While you're buying something, your credit card's in there.
It is what it is. I mean, and I think that's a topic for a future video.
Yep.
I mean, the general gist is you better have your EDRs and all the AV stuff, and protect. That's going to help you the best that you could possibly help. But is it perfect? No, but it's better than nothing.
So we talked about the public,
public, yeah.
Home public. So I guess corporate probably makes the most sense.
Corporate, my God, corporate VPN, probably the largest. It is the largest commercial use case for VPN. Commercial use case. I mean, think about it. You have a traveling person, whether they're sales, tech support, whomever. I don't care what their title is. A VP, a CEO, traveling. They need a VPN back into their corporate network to be able to access that data. So it's the same scenario. It's an encrypted tunnel from point A to point B. The only difference is you're controlling what they can access and what they can't access on the inside network, the corporate network side, right? So person on the outside, corporate networks on the inside. So connection B, if you will. So, the IT people can say, okay, well, yeah, this user can hit this server and this server, but not this server and this server, or this network, or this or that. I mean, you have that a little bit more flexibility as to what they can see and what they can't see. Well, not a little bit, a lot more flexibility. And again, you can also and control the strength of the encryption, right? So there are different strengths of encryption. So you can control that up to a pretty radical, encryption number. Now, understand, the higher that you go in the algorithm, the slower the connection gets. So there's this happy medium. 2048-bit is the most common, right? So SHA-256, 2048-bit encryption. Techies are going to understand what I'm saying. The rest of you probably won't, but that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. That's what your techies are for. That is, in my opinion, current day, your best bang and performance. It's your best bang for your buck.
Sweet spot.
It's the sweet spot, for sure. So, there is something else that has really been coming up, strong in the last several years, and that's called ZTN, Zero Trust Networking. Zero Trust kind of takes it a little different level. You are VPNing in to a third-party site. So, I pick on SonicWall just because that's who we deal with a lot. And then SonicWall, the IT people, have a portal to say, okay, this user, we're going to give them access to, this website. Now, I'm not just talking internal. I'm talking about, this web. They could see ADP.com if they're in the payroll end of it, or Salesforce.com, but they can't see,
Amazon,
Amazon.com, or Facebook or whatever, and it literally controls everything that they do. So it's zero trust. And the point being is, you want to be able to control that access, not just to those websites, but you're also then controlling the granular access of what they can see internally as well. So it's kind of a one-size-fits-all, and the end user has an experience that's a little bit more friendly. So they kind of have a tile to click on. Yeah, I want to go to ADP. I want to go to this one. I want to go to that one. I want to hit this.
Just accessing the things that they're allowed to work in. They have the access to.
Correct, and it's a lot more user friendly as opposed to, well, yeah, I got to open a web browser and type in You literally can click on a tile and it'll go take you right in.
It sounds more time consuming to set up, though.
It's more time consuming to set up, but it's way less time consuming for the end user who has to use it day in and day out. So it is truly a better solution than just a straight VPN, but it's costlier. It takes a lot more to set up. It takes some pretty stout IT knowledge in the back end.
I would assume that if you set up and the user from the IT side, they set it up, it works great, but another user comes in, they have a different use case, they're just going to go through the process of requesting access on those additional sites.
Right, and that should come through IT or through their manager, right, their boss, and then that comes back to IT and says, okay, grant this person access to this share, this server, this site. So it's a lot more granular than your regular VPN. IPsec VPN was one, and SSL. We never really carved up those two. So IPsec VPN is just kind of the old-fashioned version, where SSL VPN using HTTPS port 443. It is the most common today. But again, Zero Trust Networking, ZTN, just takes it to another level. Still using that port 443, HTTPS.
Do you have to do any sign-in or anything?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, there's a sign-in, but you can do a lot of single sign-on with it. Not all sites support it, but yeah, there's single sign-on availability for it. There's just a lot more moving parts to it, but it's that customizable that you can do what you need to do and keep your users safe, without having to put the burden on them, or even your IT department, right? if you have to go to...
So a little less training and worrying about what they're doing with your corporate data and PCs.
Train them how to use the product, and then they go...
they just do their job.
They just do their job, and they see what they can get into. So again, it's zero trust. I mean, you don't trust anybody for any reason at any time. It's, what I allow you to do is what I allow you to do, and that's it. So, I don't want you horsing around in this and that or the other thing. You don't belong there.
So I guess would that really limit someone's? A lot of people are doing that. They bring in external devices. The BYO, they bring your own device. So that really limits the availability of that kind of stuff too.
It can, but for the most part, no. I mean, that device still, will attach to your local machine. So if the data can get to your local machine, it can get to whatever endpoint. So not really.
I'm thinking more not in your computer. I'm thinking like someone else bringing something in that's not approved, iPad, something else.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because the device itself is registered.
It's not part of the...
It's not, yeah. So if, let's just say I own this laptop and this laptop, which I think I do, but...
You do.
And I'm allowed to do it on this, but I'm not allowed to do it on this. I can't get to it from this, even if it's my same sign-in, because this device is not approved.
Yeah.
So okay, thank you. I didn't even think about that. That's an extra layer that's added in there.
So you don't have any of that hidden, unknown, IT network out there that people I forget what they call it, but the tech term for it. But that whole unknown network that could live inside your, and you have no idea it exists in the business.
Yeah.
So we've been talking all about external devices. So internally, you have your VPN. What are some potential risks, and what are the best practices to mitigate?
Elaborate a little bit.
Security risks. What are some? Where do security risks arise from?
Well, security risks, just in general, always arise at the local PC level. Whether it's the user having previously accessed a website that they shouldn't have.
Well, I'm thinking more on the implementation side. So maybe it was implemented incorrectly. So make sure you have someone that understands.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if it's implemented incorrectly, are you talking about anything
with a VPN?
Man,
how to set it up and all that correctly?
If it's not done correctly, you could be in a world of hurt, because now you're going to let people into systems and that they shouldn't be in. And even employees could potentially be a threat to your business, right? I mean, they could be a
accidental one.
It could be accidental.
It's the most common way.
It is, but they could also be a side hacker. Like I love to play with this stuff. I want to see if I can get into that database. I would love to know what the CEO makes. Blah 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 blah. I mean, there's. Yeah,
so you should get someone that understands a firewall.
I would sure hope so. Okay. If you don't, a firewall with UTM appliance with VPN, or a VPN appliance sitting behind the firewall, right, or in front of the firewall.
So what are some best practices owning that firewall that you should do? Like
make sure
regular updates to the firmware. What else?
I mean that's an IT backend thing. Absolutely.
Well, they understood.
Firmware updates should always be done. Signatures, call them what you will. Make sure that device is as up to date as you possibly can all the time, because there's always threats. We've talked about threats in other videos, but making sure that it is set up properly by somebody that knows the technology and knows the device they're dealing with, so it's done correctly, so there are no holes.
Now, is another good best practice is multi-factor? Because they can always sign in. Someone can get their...
MFA is absolutely part of ZTN, period. You can't get away from it. The corporate UTM or VPN appliance, in there, you absolutely can turn that on. And if, as much as I hate to love and love to hate, MFA, it's true. It can be burdensome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this in another video.
But it's your data, and if you want to protect your data.
Right. So if MFA is your thing, yeah, absolutely, you can turn that on. It's smart in today's corporate computing environment. It just is.
I think we touched everything on this one.
I think we
cool
beat
beans.
it.
So I heard that there's something else out there Was it Edge or what's this?
There's a couple different technologies, but it's like
there's a tech that we are going to have soon, and I'm kind of shocked that nobody else has really done this before.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, out at least at the price points that we're going to be offering this for. Protecting, so let's just say I take this device and I go into Starbucks, right? And I'm sitting down, and we were talking about this before, and the VPN does its connection back to, to the corporate network or what have you. The device is still vulnerable to everybody else that's on that local network that you're on, the Starbucks network. And this is a very common thing.
Yeah.
This is an extremely common thing for people, bad actors, to be in there attempting to
sniffing and
access and find out passwords and credit cards. I mean, these idiots try to make a living off of this stuff. So you got to understand they're in search of money in an illegal way. I mean, go rob a bank.
And then the easiest way, they can just sit there,
very easy.
Let you give it to them on a public public network.
So how does this work?
So we're going to be offering, think about taking a little teeny tiny portable firewall with you, just a little tiny box, and you connect to the box, and the box connects to the Starbucks Wi-Fi. And now it's blocking all traffic coming in from anything else that's on that Starbucks Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So you're literally putting a huge wall around your machine, a virtual wall around your machine. So, on a different network that nobody else can
access. Yeah.
They can't access it, at least not easily. They're going to have to go through hell and damnation, to get there, unless you're there for 20 hours, which I would hope.
Now, is this programmed by your MSP or IT?
These will be fairly out of the box solutions, and I'm saying fairly. There's definitely some IT work on the back end to be able to control, how the device works and what you're connecting to.
So it works in conjunction with your VPN.
It's totally different. Yes, absolutely. It does. It's not a VPN in any way, shape, or form.
It's just a way to secure your connection.
Your device. I want to protect my device on a public or even home business.
That's another one.
Network, right? My kid's gaming and he's doing this and that. I mean, come on.
So it's very good for if you're on an unsecured Wi-Fi network.
It's very good for any unsecured network.
Yeah, think about
and even your home network.
That's where I see a lot of bang for the buck. Most places,
absolutely.
Most people don't have real IT at home, but they're doing work from home.
Do you want to pay for a big dollar big dollar firewall? For somebody's home, for somebody that's allowed to work at home? No. VPN's fine. Well, it's only part of the equation. The other part of the equation is I better keep that corporate device away from my kid's Xbox and his browsing habits, his or her browsing habits, whatever they might be. I mean, because you never know what's coming down. I mean, look, on Steam alone, if you're a gamer, I mean, there have been two serious viruses in just in the last 6 months. Two. One just recent. So I mean, you need, in my opinion, that's going to be a big thing for the home and traveling work user. Not necessarily the home user. You're going to be on your home network, right? But your home work user. I'm a work from home person, or I travel for a living. Hybrid of both.
Yeah.
So. And it's going to be in an extremely good price point.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the most attractive about it. It's affordable and it's easily deployable.
And you're protecting your tail. You're protecting the machine, your data. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that.
It's going to be a great product. We will announce that in the future. Officially, we're not far off, but there's some really neat stuff coming there, I think.
I can't wait to see it.
Cool.
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Cool. Hey, folks, Slick Cyber Systems, Jim, Chris, Steve, we're here to answer any and all of your questions that we possibly can. 570-215-8888 or slickcybersystems.com. There's contact forms there, our phone numbers there.
We have chat.
You can find us. It's not difficult. So we will hopefully hear from you folks, and we'll do our thing. We'll help you get through your next issue.
Or questions, whatever.
Or question. Have a good one. Take care.
If you find this content helpful, please like the video, subscribe, and share with your friends and your colleagues. Thank you.